as the member Todd Greenberg of Queens Assistant District Attorneys Association in our collaboration to honor 3 great women. Now I would like to introduce Barbara Wilkanowski, event chair of the Queens Assistant District Attorneys Association, for her opening remarks and to introduce the first presenter of tonight. Thank you and enjoy the event.
Barbara, you have to mute. Okay.
Right. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. When Todd Greenberg, the president of our Assistant District Attorneys Association of Queens County, first asked me to chair this event, I was honored and a bit nervous. To be chosen to represent an organization that I love and be part of it and have been part of it for over 30 years was a huge compliment, especially now during these long-awaited reforms in our criminal justice system is a very exciting time, to say the least. At the ADAs Association, our members are present and former Queens ADAs. We like to foster a personal acquaintances and honor our members. We normally hold 2 gatherings, one in the spring and one for the holidays. We've recently celebrated our 50th anniversary. Mostly we meet at the Douglaston Club. Once we even held it at Citi Field during a ball game. Go Mets. And recently we've enjoyed a few of our spring meetings at the Austin Ale House. And I believe that that's helped us attract a new and younger ADAs to our organization. I first joined the ADAs Association when I was a new ADA. My bureau chief at the time thought it would be a good idea for me to meet my colleagues, defense attorneys, and judges. So I went. I met a lot of new people. There was good food, good conversation. There were some speeches, but not too many. And a lot of stories being told by ADAs, defense attorneys, and judges. But most of all, there were a lot of laughs. The one common thread in all the stories told that night were that they were from the days that folks worked in the Queens DA's office. Everyone seemed to say that their time there was the best job of their careers, no matter what they went on to do later in life. I had a great night. The next day, I knew that no one would ever remember my name. Wilkanowski is not really easy to remember. But I hoped that they would remember my face when I walked into a courtroom. If that happened, it was a successful night. During my 20 years in the Queens DA's office, I was lucky enough to work with and learn from some of the most talented, intelligent, patient, and incredible women in the office. I saw them putting in long hours doing trials or appeals, standing in court all day, balancing their home lives while moving up in the office, and still finding time to volunteer and attend bar associations like the Queens County Women's Bar Association. They did all of this without breaking a sweat and looking great doing it. Meanwhile, I could barely dress myself in the morning, walk the dog, and get to work on time. I am so proud to celebrate these 3 amazing women today. DA Melinda Katz, Chief Assistant Jennifer Neinberg, who I had the pleasure to work with, and Chief of Staff Camille Chin-Ki-Fat, on behalf of the Assistant District Attorneys Association of Queens County, along with the Queens County Women's Bar Association. So to stand among you today is a professional honor and a personal privilege. We honor you today for your outstanding achievements as the first women to hold these high-ranking positions in the Queens DA's office. It is now my pleasure to introduce my colleague, Barry Frankenstein. Barry started in the Queens DA's office in 2008. In March of 2020, District Attorney Katz appointed him to her newly formed Violent Criminal Enterprise Bureau, where he is responsible for identifying and prosecuting drivers of violence engaged in organized criminal behavior, including members of violent street gangs, narcotics distribution operations, and firearms dealers. In 2019, he was named first vice president of the Assistant District Attorneys Association of Queens County. Please welcome Barry Frankenstein.
Thank you very much, Barbara, and good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to congratulate all three of the honorees this evening. It's truly been a privilege to be working under your leadership for the last 10 plus months now. I'd also like to thank the Queens County Women's Bar Association, as well as the Assistant District Attorney Association of Queens, for allowing me to present this first honor. The ADA's association, as Barbara has said, has just celebrated its 50th year. During those 50 years, there have been 8 different district attorneys of Queens County. The one thing that has always remained the purpose and the main drive of our organization is whether you're currently a member of the office, whether you've left the office after a few years, or retired after a long, successful career, we act as a reminder that we're always one Queens DA family. The recent past, as you've seen during the slideshow, we've had the honor to celebrate Judge Brown, acting DA Jack Ryan. We saw also DA Singas, who was previously honored. But what makes this presentation extra special for our organization is that we can join the Women's Bar in honoring the first woman to be elected the District Attorney of Queens County, the Honorable Melinda Katz. The DA, of course, is someone who needs no introduction. She's been in public service, working for the people of Queens County for over 20 years. As a member of the New York State Assembly, she's authored the course of sexual conduct legislation to hold predators accountable. She worked to strengthen the hate crime laws for New York State during that time as well. As a member of the New York City Council, DA Katz used her legal background as well as her community ties to chair the Land Use Committee and oversaw and steered that committee to help New York City out of its recession back in 2001. And after a few years as a securities litigator in private practice, DA Katz returned to become the 19th Borough President of Queens County, coming back to public service. And this was all accomplished before becoming now the District Attorney of Queens County, who is being honored tonight as the first woman to hold that position. And ladies and gentlemen, DA Katz did not just become the first woman to become the District Attorney of Queens County. I can clearly tell you she has done it in her own way, starting by naming her executive team who are being honored here tonight. But you can see it in the differences that have occurred over the last 10 months within the office. She immediately restructured the office, providing new units: hate crimes unit, housing and worker protection unit, cold case unit, human trafficking unit, the Violent Criminal Enterprises Bureau, thank you, boss, for that, and many, many more. The changes to the office, DA Katz has changed the office, but not only in form of structure, but also the approach to prosecution. DA Katz used already her partnerships with the many diverse communities of Queens County and has continued to fight to keep the people of Queens safe. And that was all done in a year that has been like no other. There's no doubt that DA Katz is just getting started. And with that, if I may, try to do this on the screen.
Oh,
There we go.
I'm not sure I've gotten an award. Hold on. I usually give them.
So, and it's my first time giving it, Madam DA. So, on behalf of the Queens County Women's Bar Association and the Assistant District Attorneys Association of Queens County, we honor Melinda Katz, District Attorney of Queens County, the first woman to be elected District Attorney in Queens County, a role model for leadership, gender equality, and female empowerment, Borough President of Queens County, New York City Council member, as well as New York State Assembly member. On this day, October 21st of 2020, DA Katz, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Barry, very much. And let me congratulate Barry on his new position. You know, he got promoted in VCE for his talent and for his abilities. And I thank you so much for the presentation tonight and for the dedication that you've shown this office. And to the Queens County Women's Bar Association and to the Queens ADA Association, I thank you for this honor. You know, I had the opportunity of speaking today with Soma, and I said to her, you know, it's great that you're honoring me, and I love that. But it means so much more to me that you are honoring the 2 other leaders of this office, Jen Neinberg and Camille Chinky-Fat. you know, we are judged a lot of times by the decisions we make in who we surround ourselves with. It is my true belief, and my father always said to me, you want to do the best job where you are, you want to get ahead, do that job to the best of your ability. And by the way, surround yourself with people smarter than you. And I think that that was great advice. And so I need to really thank, first of all, Jen Neinberg, who is the chief executive, who, just so everybody here knows, this office started at the kitchen table of my house. And, you know, Jen and I would sit there for hours at a time, going through staff, going through our vision of the office. And it was clear to me that to lead this office with me, I needed someone, first of all, with experience in the office. I thought that was a crucial part of the leadership and where this office needed to be. But I also needed someone who could see the vision that I had and could effectuate that in the office. We have 700 people that work here. It's not that easy to say, I want this to happen and make it happen. And so I do believe that I picked the right chief executive, and I thank her for her dedication. I would wish that she would go home a little earlier sometimes. I call her on Friday at 6. I'm like, go home now, you know, and that's an order. She is dedicated. She works amazing hours, and she gets the job done. And Camille Chinkifet, you know, it's funny because I often say to Jen, aren't you happy I got a chief of staff? And Camille's like, gee, thanks. You know, as many of you know that have experience in this office, a chief of staff was not really part of the protocol before. You know, the chief executive was doing a lot of the things, right? You know, timesheets, you know, getting the cars, doing this, all the stuff that makes the office run. And, you know, so Camille and I met. I think within 15 minutes, I offered her the job of chief of staff. And then I begged her to take the job. She is amazing. She is also, just so everybody knows, an attorney in and of herself, and is doing what she loves to do right now. And so thank you, Camille, for your understanding, you know, for our kinship, for knowing what I want before I want it. And it's really been an amazing team. Soma, thank you for running, you know, for being the leader of the Queens Women's Bar. It's an amazing time in life right now. You know, look, I don't know about all of you on this call. I have 2 kids in home learning. The job is the easiest part of my life as the DA. You know, I go home, it's home learning. The kids are upset. They want leadership in it. They want to learn things. They're 9 and they're 12. And, you know, we're all dealing with these difficult moments. And as the leader of an office of 700 people, and with Jen and with Camille and with all of the other leadership that's on this call, you really have to balance your life, balance the needs of the communities, balance the job that you want to do to the best of your ability, and make sure that we are doing the right thing by the people of Queens County. You know, I want to acknowledge Barbara and Bonnie and you know, all of the bench that's on this call, and all of my friends in the community. I'm going to get in trouble. I see so many people in the neighborhood. Like, I see Ms. Dixon out there. I see I see Sharon Lee, borough president. She was supposed to be the borough president to replace me for 1 month or 2 months. Then it was 6 months, and now it's a year. And she has done an amazing job as borough president. Look, I've been very honored and blessed in my life. I was raised by a single dad. My mother died when I was 3. I had 3 older brothers. He took nothing else but perfection. Sometimes I failed at that, but he loved me anyway. I joined the legislature at the age of 28 years old. I was the youngest woman at the time. And Kathy Nolan, just so anybody knows, was the youngest woman at the time ever. And then I became the youngest there. And it was not easy in 1994. You know, I went into the legislature when people thought, I'm only going to be dealing with women's issues. I must only be interested in domestic violence. I must only be interested in sexual abuse of children. Those must be my only passions in life to deal with. And, you know, I did what I do, right? I stood up and I said, you know what? Construction's a woman's issue. Why? Because women are working 2 jobs and coming home on the subways at night. And then they have to worry about the safety and getting home to their families. Education is a woman's issue. Economics is a woman's issue because we must provide jobs for everybody, and we bring a different perspective. That's what we do as women. We bring a different perspective. And a hardy political system and a hardy legal system has to have all perspectives that are represented as we move forward. And so I have been, look, I've been a councilwoman, an assemblywoman. I've been a partner at Greenberg Traurig. I was a mergers and acquisitions litigator at Weil Gotshal when there wasn't that many women in high position power, in law firms. And now I'm honored to be the district attorney of this county, and that leaves a lot of choices. And by the way, I've been here 10 months. The bail laws have changed twice. Discovery laws have changed twice. I got rid of the horrible 180/80 waiver policy to waive your grand jury right in order to get a plea bargain that's less than a top count plea. We have a national conversation about policing and what that should look like, and protests all across the country, which, by the way, were a long time coming. And we have a pandemic where our offices shut down from live, went 100% virtual, and then now coming back to live. And we've done that in 10 months. So it has been an amazing time for our office. People often ask me about what kind of prosecutor are you? Are you a progressive prosecutor? Are you a conservative prosecutor? I like to think of us and our team as having a steady hand. We're not prosecuting for curfew violations. We're not prosecuting for social distance or low-level marijuana. But you bring a gun into the borough, you sell them to my kids, I'm coming after you. And you're not going to be able to do that without accountability in my borough. And that accountability and that steady hand and making choice issue by issue is not always the easiest thing. It's a lot easier to say, I'm a progressive, let's do it that way. Or let's always do it that way. So I am very, very blessed in the life that I have led. I am proud to be part of what I think is an amazing office at unprecedented times. Unprecedented times. By the way, we have a few other executives, that are also women, but also we have some guys too, and that's a great thing. We have Janet Trail, who is the division head executive of appeals. We have Colleen Babb, who's community partnerships executive. We have Angela Albertus, the executive over criminal court and criminal practice. And so look, and the men, Dan Saunders, Bishoy Yako, John Castellano, Jerry Brave, and Vinnie Carroll, all the leadership team of the district attorney's office. So let me just say thank you. I'm honored to be awarded tonight with my team because we are a team. I see so many people from the DA's office, and I'm going to say to them right now, I know it hasn't been easy. I know that I came in with policies and programs that I wanted to institute by January 1st, effectuated by January 1st. And I know that many of you moved mountains in order to make those policies happen. And so I thank you for that. But I don't like ever being second best. And we needed an office to make sure that that didn't happen. And I think that we did that with each and every one of you. So to the Women's Bar, thank you for keeping up the fight time and time again and making sure that women are represented, that we have a voice. I think it's important that we band together. I want to acknowledge the leadership of Bernice Siegel over the years. She has been an amazing leader for so many young women who have moved up through the ranks. And I'm going to leave you with this. My mantra has always been, women can get ahead, but it makes no difference unless we pull other women up with us. And that's truly when we've succeeded, is when we have a trail of women who are following in our path and who blaze their own trail when they're ready to do so. And so the Women's Bar has been just an amazing partner in that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable DA Katz, and for accepting our invitation. And thank you, very Frankenstein, for that wonderful introduction of our DA. And I know that plaque will be handed to you personally, and we will figure out a time to get that to you. And I'm looking forward to that.
Selma, can I take a point of privilege?
Yes, you can.
So on November 2nd, so when I came here, the hallways were filled really with all the past classes And I don't know, there's a lot of guys up there, and it was great. It was great, beautiful. But so right now on November 2nd, the Queens Women's Bar Association is co-sponsoring with us a tour of the new executive suite up here. It's all the women who did firsts. Shirley Chisholm, Grace Main, Sandra Day O'Connor, all of great leaders. Judge Pundit's up there. Many leaders who are the firsts of women, and we're going to honor them on November 2nd. So please join us for that. Sorry.
No, Gandhi.
That's a little plug.
No, thank you for that. I am actually looking forward to that. I think it will be an amazing event. And thank you for doing it with us. So thank you so much. And I'm really honored that we have been able to honor you for all your amazing work and then the amazing work you will be doing for our queens and for the law. So thank you very much. And at this point, I'd like to introduce Elizabeth Newton. She's our committee event individual for this event, as well as an officer. Elizabeth Newton.
Thank you, Soma, and good evening, everyone. I want to say that it is with heartfelt pleasure and an honor to present Jennifer L. Neinberg, Queens County District Attorney, Chief Assistant, with a plaque this evening. But before I present the plaque, I'd like to say that I have known Jennifer for so many years. I won't say how many, but I've known her for a long time. And she and I have worked on major crime cases. She as the prosecutor and me as the defense attorney. Many would label us as adversaries. However, we were far from that. We have a mutual professional respect for each other, which created a long-lasting professional friendship. We listen to each other and we respect each other. Now, a little bit more about Jennifer. She is a 1993 graduate of Brooklyn Law School, and she received her BA from the University of Michigan. Jennifer has been with the Queens County District Attorney's Office since 1993. Before her appointment this year, January 2020, as Chief Assistant, she served as First Bureau Chief of a newly established Felony Trial Bureau, and before that, Director of Special Projects and Major Case Advisor. Last year, Jennifer served on the mayoral and other citywide working groups preparing for the criminal justice legislation that took effect January of this year. She was Deputy Bureau Chief of the Korea Criminal Major Crimes, which is when I met Jennifer, and she was also for many years Deputy Director of Trial Advocacy. In her training position, she oversaw and acted as faculty for many in-house training programs and also regularly conducted training programs for outside agencies such as New York City Police Department, Port Authority Police Department, and the New York City Fire Marshals. Jennifer has personally tried some of Queens County's most serious crimes, such as murder, robbery, burglary, kidnapping, attempted murder, and A1 narcotic cases, all of the fun stuff. And finally, for the past 10 years, Jennifer was also an adjunct professor at Fordham Law School, where she co-taught in the prosecutor's clinic. So tonight in closing, I would like to say that we are all witnesses to history. This is the first time in the history of New York City to have a district attorney office, top executive staff positions held by all women. Those positions being District Attorney Melinda Katz, Chief Assistant Jennifer L. Neinberg, and Chief of Staff Camille Chen Key Bat. This is certainly a momentous moment, especially as we celebrate this year the 100th anniversary of a movement by women and for women, the 19th Amendment right to vote. So let's give a hand to Jennifer Neinberg and the DA and Camille Chen Key Bat. And I'd like to say, Jennifer, I hope you guys can see this. Well, I'm presenting the plaque to Jennifer, and I'll just read it. It's the Queens County Women's Bar Association and the Assistant District Attorneys Association of Queens County proudly honor Jennifer L. Neinberg, Chief Assistant District Attorney, Queens County District Attorney's Office, for her outstanding contributions to the legal and law enforcement community and pursuit of justice on behalf of the people of Queens County during her 26 years of service and continuing service at the Queens County District Attorney's Office. And this will be delivered to Jennifer this week personally by myself. And I'm sorry about the logistics, but it's a beautiful plaque. And Jennifer, I think you'll love it. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Liz. I look forward to seeing you this week in person. Thank you. I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody here, first of all, for joining us tonight, from your living rooms, from your offices. I see you all over, and it's I have some friends and family who joined us. That's truly exciting. Soma, I want to thank you and the entire board and the entire Queens County Women's Bar Association. I was pleased to attend your new members meeting a couple of weeks ago. I look forward to being at more events with you, and this is a tremendous honor. I thank you so much. Todd Greenberg and Barry and the rest of the board, Queens County DA's Association, I want to thank you also. I'm truly honored. Frankly, the flyer for this event itself, to see my photograph with the two women whose photographs are on that flyer, with the district attorney of this county, the formidable Melinda Katz, and Camille Chinkifat. The flyer itself was a thrill for me. It was just about a year ago this time, in November, I believe, where I first met the district attorney one-on-one. And I have to tell you, admittedly, I was nervous. We met for lunch. She could eat. I think I struggled through a cup of coffee. But I'll also tell you very candidly, I think I was kind of struck at first. I had closely watched the campaign. I had read everything that then Borough President Melinda Katz had put out as candidate for DA. I had anxiously watched and absorbed the debates. And having only seen the DA from afar, that public and very powerful figure, I was a little curious to find out what this person was about. And it was honestly a little more than just idle curiosity. You have to appreciate that at that point, I had been a prosecutor in this office for 26 years. And I had, not knowing where I would be, put some feelers out and was trying to figure out and explore where I might go next and in what capacity. What happened over the next several weeks as I got to know the district attorney, as I sat around her kitchen counter, which she mentioned, was honestly life-changing for me. We exchanged ideas. We spoke about her vision for the office. I tried to bring what I could to that kitchen table, my experience and my knowledge to that counter. And one night as I was leaving, I saw Sharon Lee. I hope you remember this. Borough President Sharon Lee was at the counter with us that night. And when we were walking out the door, she turned to me and she said, "You realize we're making history." And so we did. I've been a practicing attorney myself since that wonderful day when my father and my grandfather, both Brooklyn Law School alum, were able to give me my diploma in 1993. And since then, I have practiced alongside many women. I'm in a generation where half my law school class, like many of you, was likely women. And I started with some brilliant women here in the office. When I got here, there were great female attorneys that I could look up to, not as many as I would have liked to see. There were some fantastic women ahead of me. But up until January 1st, 2020, there was no doubt that the office of the Chief Law Enforcement Officer in Queens County was male dominated. honestly, it was something that I was conscious of at sometimes, and it also affects your subconscious too. But that's the way things were. And I work for wonderful people, and I enjoyed the best job in the world. But for the past 20 years, as I sat downstairs, as many of you on this Zoom call did, as I sat downstairs from where I am now, I'm in the office, in the ceremonial courtroom, I was subtly aware that all the pictures on the wall around me were men. When I walked down the hallway, the executive hallway, which the DA referred to in the Queen's DA's office, that's the third floor. The third floor has a lore, it has a mystique. And I walked down that hall as a young prosecutor because at the end of that hallway was the chief assistant and the district attorney. And I would pass those photos and they were mostly men. That's something that quietly creeps into your consciousness. Let me just say that I am so acutely aware of what it means to have the district attorney, Melinda Katz, and Camille Chinkifat, the wonderful, powerful, brilliant Camille Chinkifat, for all three of us to be in this executive suite, to have our offices on this floor. I'm so excited for young prosecutors in the office, men and women, who will not only be told how the office is being redefined, but they're going to see it and they're going to feel it. And it's going to creep in to their subconscious when they walk down this hallway. That's the way things are here now. That's the new normal. Over the years, I've been proud. I've always been very proud to be a woman doing what we do. I was proud years ago as the mother of young kids to try major cases, being the first woman that I saw in the Homicide Trials Bureau with young children. I remember, this might be TMI, too much information, but I remember calling in from my maternity leave, my first. I was a trial assistant in the Career Criminal Major Crimes Bureau, and I called the chief and I told him, you're going to have to put a lock on my door because I'm going to have to pump during lunch. I was nursing my baby, and I went on to nurse the other two. And I did it during my breaks, at lunch, in my office with the door closed while trying major cases and then homicides after that. I think I made him blush when I called, but he did it. He put a lock on my door. And for years after that, I would lend my office. I had two, that's another story. I would lend my second office to a lot of young mothers so that they could do the same. As time went on over my career here, I went from young prosecutor to more of a senior stateswoman kind of position. And I've always enjoyed mentoring young female lawyers over the years about being a trial lawyer, about being a mom, about doing both and balancing it. Many young women in the office now can tell you that they have received over the years a text or an email from me where I said something along the lines of, I am woman, hear me roar. And I reserved that for prosecutors young female prosecutors who were pregnant and they were trying a case, oftentimes major cases, doing the both at the same time. Because in my mind, that was the epitome of I am woman, hear me roar. There was something so spectacular about standing up on behalf of the people of the state of New York and making a baby at the same time. To me, there was nothing more powerful, but I have to tell you that in the past couple of months, thanks to the district attorney, I think there is something more powerful, and it's happening here now. And we did make history, and the district attorney made history. And in that way, she has changed more than a few lives. Women being in these positions does make a difference. I've received private communications. I know the district attorney and I received a mutual communication on Mother's Day of this year from a lot of assistants in the office who tell me what it means to them, what it means to young women to see us here. From the bottom of my heart, I thank the district attorney of Queens County for allowing me. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here. And she is the kind of woman. I thank her for her vision. I thank her for her support. I thank her for being the kind of woman who prides herself on bringing up women with her, behind her, next to her. That's a special kind of leader. And she is redefining the office. And I am thrilled to be a part of it. And I thank you again for this honor. And I thank everybody here for joining us tonight and listening to us listening to us.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Those are amazing stories. And, when you said it's maybe sharing too much, but I think is so many women can relate to that. And that's an amazing that you have been able to balance your career, motherhood, and public service. So it's not easy. And your recognition and honor, it's truly well-deserved.
Thank you.
And I think the district attorney's office is so much better having 3 top women running it, over 700 people there. So it's an amazing feat, and we're so happy that you could be part of this. Next I have the honor of introducing Honorable Lourdes Ventura, committee member of this event, as well as our past president of the Queens County Women Bar Association. Honorable Lourdes Ventura.
Yes, good evening. Thank you, Soma.
You're welcome.
Okay. As a proud past president of the Queens County Women's Bar Association and as a former Queens prosecutor, I applaud our organizations for coming together to honor the top 3 women of the new Queens County District Attorney's Office. Congratulations to you, Melinda, Jennifer, and Camille. I am even more thrilled and honored to introduce my friend, my sister, S-I-S-T-A-H, Camille Chinky Fat. I met Camille while I was working at the New York State Attorney General's office. I heard that last name and I was like, who is that? I have to meet her. What Chinky Fat? So I finally meet her and I hear about her. I hear she's no nonsense. But when I met her, I was like, well, she's not that scary. She's kind of friendly and approachable. And I was taken aback about her approachability. But I'm so glad that I took the chance and I met her. And, she's been a sister, a friend, and a mentor for a long time. Throughout the years, we've kept in touch, and I've heard of her amazing career path that has led her to this moment in time. I know a lot of you that are on this Zoom call tonight. Many of you might not know Camille. So I'm not going to go over her entire resume, but here's a few tidbits about Camille. Prior to being chief of staff at the Queens County District Attorney's Office, she served as director of administrative services for the New York City Council, where she oversaw the council's $80 million budget and all administrative divisions of the council. She also served on the executive leadership of the New York City Mission Society. She also served as dean at New York Law School. She was director of career services and director of the Office of Student Affairs at Brooklyn Law School. She was director for recruitment at the New York State Attorney General's office and for other private and nonprofit institutions and organizations. Camille also served as the executive director of PALS, the Practicing Attorney for Law Students program, which is a renowned mentoring program for law students of color attending law schools in the New York City area. And she began her legal career as a corporate securities associate at Sherman and Sterling LLP. And she's a proud alum of Howard University Law School. Now, that was just her career. In her extracurricular activities, she has served on a number of boards and task force, including the Metropolitan Black Bar Association and the New York City Bar Association. She's also served for many years on the Second Department Judicial Screening Committee for the gubernatorial judicial appointments under several governors. And most importantly, Camille has resided in Queens for over 40 years, and she is Noah's mom.
That's
now,
right.
I have a vivid memory of Noah. When Camille and I were working at the AG's office, she had purchased her home in Adelaide Park, Queens, and she invited friends and colleagues so we could see her new home and everything she had done to it, and it was amazing. And I saw a toddler Noah running butt naked around the house, and Camille trying to catch him and gets him, and everyone was just laughing, but it was just light, it was humorous, it was fun, and it was just Camille in her home. And now Noah, I believe he's about 18 years old or so, so I hope I didn't embarrass him, but I can only imagine, you have your hands full still now that he's 18. And I really don't know how you do it, sis. I am so very proud of you and all that you will do for Queens County alongside Melinda and Jennifer and the Queens DA team. The Queens County Women's Bar Association and the Assistant District Attorneys Association of Queens County proudly honors you with a plaque. Here it is.
Thank you.
And it states, that we proudly honor Camille Chinkifet, Chief of Staff for the Queens County District Attorney's Office, for her commitment and distinguished career in public service, academia, and the private sector, as well as in mentoring students and providing guidance and opportunities within the legal community. October 21st, 2020. Congratulations and God bless. And you'll get this soon. We'll talk.
Thank you, Lourdes.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, everyone. I wanted actually to come home and do this from my home, because as we honor the DA and Jen, I sit in the former home of Lena Horne. And so I wanted to do it from my living room. Welcome to my living room and the former living room of Lena Horne, because speaking of trailblazers, right? I stand on her shoulders, and not a day goes by that I walk in this house that I'm not aware that I stand on Miss Horne's shoulders. So I wanted to do it from my living room. Thank you, everybody. Oh my goodness. So as Lourdes said, I've done a lot with my JD. And not bad for someone who grew up in Trinidad with dirt roads and an outhouse. I cherish my upbringing quite a bit. I've also lived in Queens, as Lourdes says, for close to 40, over 40 years. Started off in Far Rock, taking that A train, 3+ hours to go to Bronx Science, because my mom moved us to Far Rockaway my last year of Bronx Science. Bless her heart. So Far Rock, then Rego Park, and now in Ashley Park in St. Albans. Yes, I'm Chief of Staff, and it's a newly created role, created by an amazing, gifted, and powerful, HERFUL, powerful, shout out to Dave on that, a powerful woman, Melinda Katz. So Chief of Staff, folks ask me on a daily basis, what do I do? I'm gonna go to my Trini roots and say it's more like Chief Cook and Bottle Washer. I do just about everything within the office. I try to anticipate needs, and I try to keep my fingers in all of the dikes in this COVID world. The last time I was this exhausted after 9 months, I had my son Noah. Oh, and by the way, as you said that, he ran up the stairs. I won't tell you how, but you can guess. The exhaustion, I will say, over the last 10 months has been worth it. Yes, I've been stretched and challenged over the last many months, trying to find masks for staff in March and April when no one can find masks. I want to give a shout out to Sharon Lee for helping me during those times to get for us to find masks for our staff. Working with Colleen, another woman in leadership in the office, as the DA mentioned, and my intern Jordan on figuring out how to do a virtual food drive to help pantries in Queens during those early months. Working with IT, because they had to put in some amazing hours to basically take the office virtual overnight. We all go back. Wasn't that long ago. Amazing folks there. And the DIs who helped transport so many of the staff who had to come in to intake and do their jobs. Thank you to them, Chief Al and Dan. Deanna, Darnia, and Jen on turning the atrium into a third grand jury. Anybody who knows the atrium in Borough Hall, 76 6-feet windows had to be covered to protect the secrecy of the grand jury. Shout out to Alexis Carter
for taking care of that and managing all of those things and all that he does in facilities. Aham and IT for the ongoing technical migration of the office. The jobs run the gamut from searching for electrostatic sprayers online into the wee hours, working on designing our DA masks for close to a month with a company in Florida, and continuing to hire during the pause, scheduling and conducting all those virtual interviews. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Myrna, for all of those scheduling and everything else that you do day to day. Speaking of hiring, we also hired our first EEO diversity officer, Tyre Middleton. Shout out to Tyre. Another woman in leadership in the office. Thank you to all of these women who keep us on track. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank Donna, Courtney, Danya, Rosemary, Marlene, Julaine, Darlene, and Maria. They help us lift the load every day, the exec staff on the third floor, and the list goes on and on. Now, from furniture to floods, what makes me get up every single day and face this, let me be careful, fustercluck, are Jen Neinberg and Melinda Katz. 10 months ago, when I met Melinda for the first time in that diner to discuss the potential of working within the Queens DA's office, I would have never imagined that I would be nostalgic, one, about eating in a diner, nor that I'd be serving in another first role. I've been first a lot of my life. We are creating the path in the DA's office right now by walking it. And we have accomplished in a transitional year. I want to remind everybody, this is the DA's transitional year, wrapped in a pandemic, during a time of unprecedented bail, race, and criminal justice reform. I couldn't be more proud. At Sherman and Sterling, having been the first grad that the firm had recruited from Howard Law, and one of 6 Black attorneys out of over 600, many of my white counterparts would say that I was there because I was a threefer. Namely, Black woman with an Asian last name. A hat trick of sorts, right? Another definition of a hat trick, I looked it up last night, is 3 successes of the same kind, especially consecutive ones within a limited period. 3 successes of the same kind, especially consecutive ones within a limited period. The DA, Jen, and I work tirelessly for the successes that are seen and just as hard for the ones that are unseen. I thank the DA for giving me this opportunity and for having me be a member of a true hat trick every day. I'm going to close by getting a little personal. I mentioned at the start that I grew up in Trinidad. I value and cherish my upbringing. It gives me the strongest of foundations. My parents were both teachers and police officers back home, and both came here, albeit separately. They got divorced when I was young to make a better way. My mom forged a way for me to be here by sleeping on acquaintances' sofas for over a year while she left me at home with my grandmother until she could find a full-time job and a place to call home. We ended up landing in the South Bronx, in an apartment in the South Bronx. My mom went back to school during the evening at Baruch to become an accountant, her third profession. I am all that I am because of my mother. And I want to give her her props. I want to thank my son Noah for keeping our conversations going through all of the work calls and the emails, and asking me every day when I get home, how was your day? And actually caring about the answer. For those of you who have spent any time with me, you know, everyone knows this. Lourdes, you know this. I quote my grandmother. I quote my grandmother on a daily basis. She has been my guiding light my entire life. Her faith and her fortitude guided and helped me and helped her to raise generations. She was the glue that held our family together. I'll end with some of my favorite quotes of hers and two favorites of mine. Now, I might go Trinidad with you because when I hear my grandmother's voice, I hear it with her accent, right? There's no excuse for rudeness. That was her main, just all the time. There's no excuse for rudeness. If you don't have a plate, use a palm leaf, right? So if you don't have a plate, use a palm leaf. This is what I've been doing for the last 10 months. We make do with what we have and we switch out. And when you can't do this, you use this and you figure that out. What makes the load heavy is when you refuse to carry it. I didn't understand that. My grandmother used to say that to me when I was little all the time. And I was like, what do you mean? Yeah. What makes the load heavy is when you refuse to carry it. It made more sense the older I became. And I use it just about every day, you know? Just let's all carry our own loads, and together, sticks in a bundle cannot be broken, right? That was an extra one. And the last one from my grandmother, I say all the time, as long as you wake up in the morning, child, you have a chance. You have a chance. So as long as you wake up, when people greet me every morning when I come in, when the DIs are taking my temperature and they say, how are you? I say, I woke up. Right? I woke up, because every day we have a chance to do something for someone. And I am so thankful that I get to do it with Jen Neinberg and Melinda Katz every day for the county I've lived in for over 40 years. So grateful to be able to serve all of the members of the community in Queens. The two of my favorite quotes is, high tide lifts all boats. And I've done that my whole life. I've advocated for my son with the Department of Education. I've advocated for so many people. So high tide lifts all boats. I do it for me, but I do it for everyone at the same time. And from my very favorite song, all of my friends who are listening today know what that is. It's As by Stevie Wonder. Kindness knows no shame. If I had, I actually have a pillow where I wrote it on there, but I'm not going to get up. Kindness knows no shame. And I think that's a good mantra and a good thought to end on. I thank everybody for celebrating our leadership this evening. And I thank the DA for choosing me. It's an honor to work with Jen and Melinda Katz every single day, and everybody else in the office. So thank you.
Once again, good evening. As I stated before, I started in the Queens DA's office in 1978, probably before a lot of you were born. Shortly thereafter, I joined the Women's Bar. It was without a doubt one of the best professional and personal decisions I could have made. For one price, you gain entrance to the statewide Women's Bar Association with women and men from counties throughout the city and state in diverse areas of the law. If you have a relative from Westchester or any other county call you and ask for an attorney, you will have a resource. My career eventually took me to other areas of the law and other courts in other counties. But wherever I went, I could find a member of the Women's Bar in that county who always had a welcoming hand to assist me as I was learning the ropes. The Women's Bar will offer you free or very low-cost CLE to fulfill your annual requirements. Additionally, the Women's Bar has numerous social events where you will have an opportunity to socialize with other members of our association and jurists from our county in a more relaxed setting. The Women's Bar also performs civic functions throughout the county, including an annual walk to raise money for breast cancer awareness. This year, we also ran a voter registration drive. Please check us out online at qcwba.org for our calendar and to join, and also in Facebook to follow us. The ADA's Association has two spectacular events each year, great parties after the pandemic is over, where you will have an opportunity to socialize in a relaxed setting with current and former members of the office. In future years, you will be able to continue to maintain the friendships you are forging in the office now. Through thick and thin, the members of both of these bar associations will be instrumental to you. Join the Women's Bar now and check it out for a couple of years. The dues are not that exorbitant. The Women's Bar events are stellar. And when the ADA Association can resume their parties, go to one. You'll see. Annually, they honor some of the best members of the office. I look forward to seeing you at events hosted by both organizations. Barbara?
Thank you, Bonnie. Hello again, everyone. After hearing from our honorees and speakers, I'm even prouder and a little bit humbled to be a woman and attorney in this county that I know we all love. As we move forward through these uncharted and changing times, we look towards these incredible women and hope to see great things from them. They are, like it or not, role models for young women, law students, and new ADAs to strive to be anything they want to be. And if you'd like to know more about our association, the ADA's Association of Queens County, please check us out, as Bonnie said, on Facebook and LinkedIn. You can see photos of all the great events that we've had in the past, and we hope to eventually see you there for an in-person appearance. I want to thank Soma Syed, the Queens County Women's Bar Association, the events committee members for all their hard work in putting this program together, the speakers, the Assistant DA's Association of Queens County members, and a special thanks to Bonnie Cohen, the former Queens ADA, for putting forward the idea for this joint event. Thanks to everyone involved in making the event a success, and thanks to all for participating. So I, on behalf of the ADA's Association, wish you all the best. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I hope to be able to see you all really in person. All right, I'm gonna say goodnight. Turning it over to Soma.
Yes. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you so
Soma.
much. Thank you, Camille. We're going to have some picture slides play while I say my closing remarks. On behalf of both Bar Association, I thank you all for taking the time to join us for this event. Congratulations to all the honorees, DA Melinda Cass, for your amazing career journey and all the things that you will be doing for Queens County. Congratulations, Jennifer Neinberg, and congratulations to Camille Chinke Fat. I enjoyed hearing your grandmother's quote and your amazing story from Trinidad to New York and your mother's journey. I think what makes us strong and what makes each one of us strong individual and as a woman, it's the obligation and responsibilities and the inspiration we get from our mothers, our aunts and uncles and fathers. So thank you for that. We're in this pandemic. I ask each of you to stay safe and socially distant, wear masks, wash your hands, and don't forget to vote on November 3rd. And early elections start on October 24th through November 1st. Please check us out. We'll be sharing some of these pictures, and check our website, www.qcwba.org, for more information on our organization and the work we do. Good night, everybody, and enjoy the pictures. And thank you so much. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you
You
very
too.
much. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations to all honorees.
And thank you, Ravi.
Yes, thank you,
Yes,
Ravi.
thank you,
And
Ravi.
Beautiful. Thank you all.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
and great job.
Great event. Wonderful. Fabulous.
Great event, Ravi,
Very, very
Soma, and all
Thank
the
you,
team.
Soma.
Thank you for joining.
Congratulations. Great job, everybody. Great job.